Like a Sanhedrin Daf Samachim Amud Aleph. Today's daf sponsored by Maurice Day and the Refuah Shlema Esther by Olga. Approximately 10, 12 lines down. If someone says that Avodah Zarah is their God, or he calls it, "You are my God." Once a person says to Avodah Zarah that you are my God, he's chayav. The Gemara says what? If he says chayav death, Matidini, Rishon said that. And the Qurban, it says that if a person does it by accident, he's chayav Qurban. The Gemara says, according to Hachamim who say that a person who curses Hashem is not a chayav of Qurban by accident. But it says, Eno chayav, you only chayav a Qurban if it's something physically. For example, slaughtering, burning, libations, or bowing down. Who holds that bowing down is chayav hatat. Rabbi Akiva, according to Rabbi Akiva, he holds that you don't need a actionable thing. However, Mechla sounds like you do need to do an action in order to be chayav hatat, and just saying something like "You are my God" is not enough. Not even saying that you're chayav for bringing a hatat for saying "You're my God." The Rabbi Akiva Kama is holding Rabbi Akiva. The Gemara says Rabbi Akiva pshita. According to Rabbi Akiva, for sure. And Megadif, same thing as saying cursing Hashem. Both are actions via verbal actions, which are considered minor. So if you're chayav for cursing Hashem, you're for sure chayav for saying "You are my God." Gemara says no. To me, I think maybe only time Rabbi Akiva would say you're chayav to bring a korban is by a cursing, because the pasuk says that a person's chayav karet and does it on purpose. In the case of "You're my God," it looked there's no pasuk in the Torah that will refer to punishment. You won't be a chayav hatat when you sin by accident. Kamashman therefore teaches you that they compare and they make them alike. The Tivish mentioned by the Egel with Bnei Israel slaughtered the Korban and said to the Egel, "You are our gods." And therefore, that's why we see your chayav even there. Now the verse says, "Amar B'Yochanan, Ilmalev ve'vav shebe'aha'olecha ethavur she'em shel Yisrael klaya." When Bnei Israel said, "You are our gods," these are your gods who brought you up. Multiple gods brought you up from Mitzrayim. If they didn't make it plural and they just said that this is the Egel that brought you up from Mitzrayim, Yani excluding God, Hashem, that would have called Bnei Israel to get destroyed. But since they made it plural, they included Hashem in there. At least they included Hashem. That saved them. The time Bertha says, Mechol Tanei. Ahim said in Malivia, Vishbi Alecha, and Hayu Hashem Shesra. Same thing. Amar Lo, Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai, Bar Yochai says, Va'alo, Kol Mishatev, Shem Shemaim, Devader Acher, Ne'acher Min Olam. Shenemar, Bilati Hashem Levado. He says, no, I don't like that. Oh, just because they equated Hashem to another god, they included him in the calculation as to who took him out of Mitzrayim, that saved them? No, the pasuk says Hashem is by himself. Don't include Hashem in other Avodah Zarah. Therefore, how does he explain the pasuk? When it says that they the multiple gods from Mitzrayim, from Hashem rather, it just means that they requested more gods. They wanted more gods. They desired more gods. And not that they included Hashem, and he doesn't accept that answer that it saved them that they included Hashem. Okay. We said in the Mishnah, a person who hugs, kisses, sweeps, or sprinkles water for Avodah Zarah is a lav, but there's no punishment. Like no mita. All these malkut. Except for a person who vows in the name of a false Avodah Zarah, or someone who swears in the name of Avodah Zarah. What's the difference in those two that you're the lolaki that you don't get malkut? There's no physical action. And so too. The Gemara says 1 second. In other cases, it's a lav that's part of other lavim, meaning they're all pasul from the same pasuk. It's a minor lav, and a minor isur mentioned in a pasuk of a general pasuk. The Hammer says, "Minayin, how do you know? The person eats meat from a slaughtered animal before it dies completely. That you're chayav alav. You should not eat over blood." Now this pasuk means it can be explained for many different things, as we're about to show you. The explanation of the pasuk: don't eat with the blood. Don't eat blood. Don't eat meat of korban while the blood's still in the vessel of the Bet HaMikdash. You have to make sure that it's first already sprinkled. So you already have two explanations of the pasuk. The third one would be, and the first one was, I didn't explain it, is don't eat the meat while the animal is still thrashing alive. I mean, it's dead in its death throes after it's slaughtered. Okay, maybe it's the third explanation. How do you know? That you don't bring the meat. So usually when a person passes away, the family gets a free meal from relatives or friends when they come back for the shiva. How do you know we don't do that if the person got executed by Bedin? Maybe I can write the explanation. How do we know? When Bedin kills someone. I don't know they fast the whole day. Don't need over blood. Remember Yachanan. How do you know there's a sword for a Ben Surah Moreh that the kid who's executed? You should not eat over blood. So how does that applied by Ben Surah? Because one of the things he has to be chayav is he has to steal food, steal money from his parents, and buy meat. So don't eat the meat that will cause your blood. Don't cause death. All these isurim, you don't get malkut. It is a general isur, part of the minor isur learned from a general isur. Right? That first pasuk is simply explained as don't eat blood in general. So now we have these other lavin, other isurim explained from that single pasuk. So it's over here as well. You be patur. So this isur of hugging, kissing, etc., all comes from a general isur of don't serve an avodah zarah. So why chayav makut? Where it says Ella, all these things I mentioned in Shai, you're not chayav, except for when you make a vow in the name of avodah zarah or swear in its name. The Gemara says, okay, 1 second. Now I have a backwards question. The reason why you're not chayav is because it's general lav, minor lav, part of general lav. So it's over here. It's not an actionable item. Why chayav makut for swearing or vowing? The Gemara says, he says, a non-actionable isur, you do get makut. Don't leave the korban pesach or any korbanot overnight. You should eat it or burn it. It teaches you to make a chayav afterward. Lamarsh, the in lokin you do not get malkut. The Rabbi Akiva says, Lo min Hashem huzeh. No, that's not the reason why you don't get malkut. That teaches you because there's no action. Yaakov holds that since it's not actionable, you're not chayam malkut. Therefore, it sounds like Michal Rabbi holds that the only reason why you're not chayam malkut is because of a pasuk. But without that, he would hold Laukina Lav, you do get Malkut for no action, and that's why you'll get Malkut for those two as well. Okay. Someone makes a vow or swears and saying he gets Lo Taseh. Wait for me next to that Avodah Zarah. Don't say those. Let be heard through you. Interestingly enough, a few years ago, my father moved locations to a new warehouse, and when we were trying to figure out a good way to directions, we realized that you're supposed to make a turn next to a place of avodah zarah, a non-Jewish place of worship. So this pasuk teaches you you're not supposed to say make a turn over there. We had to say make a turn by the Chase Bank across the street versus mentioning that place. Don't use them as landmarks. And also don't make a vow in the name, don't make a swear in the name. Don't make other people swear or vow in the name. Explanation. Should not be heard through you. Another isur for a person instigating or causing people to sin. I know you can't instigate someone else to sin because this is be scared. It's a warning against a person from who causes a city to sin. Like where it says, don't hold others to vow or swear in its name. It's a proof according to him. A person should not become a partner with a goy because maybe the guy will make him chayav to swear in the case of a monetary issue. He'll swear through his idol. But don't cause people to swear through Avodah Zarah. But the Kanvo. Ula came to Babel and he spent the night in a city called Kandevo, which is the name of Avodah Zarah. It was called after the Avodah Zarah's name. Amar le Rava said, where did you sleep overnight? Amar le, he told him, the Kanvo. I was stuck in Kandevo. Amar le, Maktiv, Vishem Elohim Achirim L'Taskil. Don't mention their names. Why are you mentioning their name? Amar le says, Hachem Rabbi Yochanan, Kol Avachim She'aktub B'Torah Mutar L'Taskil Shema. If the name of Avodah Zarah is mentioned in the Torah, be able to say it. Meaning, if it's a new Avodah Zarah or not mentioned in the Torah, you can't say it. But once the Torah mentions it, you're able to say it. The Gemara says, where does this come nevo? He says, okay, we learned from the Pasuk, the Tiv. Tara bal kores nevo. But if it's not written, you can't say it. Look, Tivalo, if someone saw a zav is a person who has a certain type of discharge. Back then, they used to have this made in tamet. You have to have three become tamet, and in between, you had to have top periods of drying and waiting. So, what if a person has a long zav discharge, and it's as long as three, which means as long time it takes from gadyon to shiloh. The amount of time it takes to two washings and two dryings. How does this Gamor? That's considered, in order to be a chayav, you have to have three, which includes the drying and the washings in between. But if you had one, as long as those three would take, and the amount of time it takes the gadyon to shiloh, he's a complete zav. You don't need all three separate. Now we see over here they mentioned the word gadyon, which is avodah zarah. And the pasuk does not say it. The Mishnah says it. The Gemara says, "Maravina Gad nami l'ktiv kibeh." It says it in the Torah. L'ktiv ha'orechim l'gad shulchan. Amar Nachman, kol etzinu da'asira. Any making fun is asur. Chut min l'tzinu da'avud l'chamim sharia itself for making fun of idols which is allowed. Tani P'ti pasuk says, "Kara bel kores nevo karasu karu yachtav lo yachadu malate masa." Makes fun of the zara that it has a loose stomach. ולכתיב לעגלות בית אבן יגרו שכן שמרון מי אבל עליו עמו וכמריו עליו יגילו על כבודו כי גלה ממנו אל תקרא כבודו אלא כבודו. It mentions how Avodah Zarah, it makes fun of Avodah Zarah that it has large feces and stuff. Okay, I'm already talking. What does it mean? That, so we see you're allowed to make fun of Avodah Zarah, but you can't make fun of anybody else. What does it say? You should make even they sin even more. They made themselves figures out of the silver. Kitvunam asabim in the shapes of idols. My kitvunam asabim. What do you mean the shape of idols? Milamed teaches you shekol echad echad during that time. Every person asad demut yirato made a avodah zarah in his own image. Sorry, in the image of his avodah zarah. He made an image of it. When he put it in his pocket, when he remember it, he would take it out. He would hug it and kiss it. They had their portable avodah zarah. What does it mean that they would slaughter people who kiss the calves? Marbi is talking about the debate of Abi Ami. Shayu mesharete. The people who would take care of the Zara would watch, would like the wealthy, would see the wealthy people. What would they do? They would starve calves the people worshipped. And then make the images of the wealthy people. They put pictures of the wealthy people and put it next to the calves' food, so that when they would starve and they would see the food, they would see the images of the people. They take them for a walk. And when they saw the calves, when the calves saw these wealthy people in the street, they would run over to them thinking they would get fed, like how they were trained until now. These caretakers would tell the wealthy person, see that the animal likes you. Go be slaughtered for it. And then they would take their money. The person says that the Torah people will kiss the calves, not the calves would kiss the person. The says no. Whenever a person was slaughtered his son for Zara, they would be told, you offered a great korban to it, go kiss the animal. We're reading Pesukim about what Avodah Zarah they had, and we'll explain which one is. Manu, what's that Avodah Zarah? Tanagol, a hen. Manshe Kud, Asu a Nargal. Manu, what's that Avodah Zarah? Tanagol, rooster. Manshe Hamad Asu a Shima. Manu, what's that? Barha Karha, a bald goat. Manavim Asu has et Batatat. Manu, what's that? Keleb Hamor, dog and donkey. Bahasfarazim, Suratim Behem, Baesh, Lada Melech, Bana Melech, Elohe Sefarvim. Fine. What's that? Haperet v'hasus, horse and mule. The melech, you know why is a mule called Ad Melech? Because it carries the burden for its master. But Amelech and Amel is a horse. It responds to what the master says in battle. Even Hizkiah, his father wanted to kill him by passing him through fire to serve Avodah Zarah. But his mother first put the blood of a salamandra on top of him, which protects him from fire. It's a creature that's created from an oven that's on for 7 years straight. A creature emerges, and that blood can, if we coat a human with it, it'll protect him from fire. That's how Hizkiah got saved from his father. Even though Bnei Israel know there's nothing to Avodah Zarah, the only reason why they got into Avodah Zarah is to permit themselves to do other sins. Meaning, if they are following a different God, they're able to do immorality because they're following that God. It's just a way to rationalize. Matib Marav Shashia, 1 second, because the Hor ben him their Mizbeachs are like remembering their sons. They wish to do Avodah Zarah like they miss their sons. So we see that they do like Avodah Zarah. The Mar says no. But once they became attached to it, Avodah Zarah, that's when they liked it. But beforehand, the only reason why they got into it was to allow themselves to do Avarot. Put their bodies on top of the bodies of their idols. What happened? I'm really sad. He was walking around after the Beit HaMikdash was destroyed. The first one, people were sitting around bloated stomachs from hunger. פעם אחת מצא תינוק, he found a child, he was bloated and sitting on top of a pile of garbage. אמר לו, he told him, מאיזה משפחה אתה? What family are you from? אמר לו, משפחה פלונית, I'm from a certain family. אמר לו, he said to him, "לא משקיע חמץ משפחה, any left from that family? אמר לו, לא, חוץ ממני, nobody's left except for me. Different Bright says that he also asked him how many used to be in the family. He said, there used to be 3,000 people in my family. אמר לו, he told him, אם אני מלמדך הדבר שאתה חי bו, if I teach you something that you'll cause you to live, we learn it. Amar said, yeah, why not? Amar said, okay, Amar b'chol yom, Shema Yisrael Shalom K'nei Echad. Say every day, hear that Shema Yisrael. It'll save your life. Amar told him back, pretty messed up. Has, he told Eliyahu to be quiet. Shalom Askir B'Shem Hashem, I don't want to hear God. Shalom do Abi Mom. His father never told it to him. He told me, he took out his Avodah, the child took it out. So he hugged it and kissed it until his stomach exploded from bloatedness. It's a starvation. But the Avodah Zarah fell to the ground and he fell on top of it. Like the Pasuk says, the bodies will land on top of the Avodah Zarah. So we see that the child loved it and hugged it and kissed it, even though he was dying, instead of getting saved. They loved Avodah Zarah. The Gemara says, after they became attached to it. El Hashem Elokechem. Ma'amor, what did Sanhedrin cry out to Hashem? They cried out to Hashem, screaming to Hashem, help us, help us. Avodah Zarah destroyed the Beit HaMikdash. V'kaele burnt the Hechal. V'katninu l'tzadikeh. V'aglinu Yisrael l'be'arayu. Avodah Zarah also killed the Jewish people, the tzaddikim, and exiled Bnei Israel from the Bnei Eretz Israel. V'aidan hu menakeh b'nei, and still dances among us. People are still sinning from it. Kulu mi'adinin la, did you give this test to us? Ela l'kablu getting reward for overcoming it. Lo even we don't want Avodah Zarah for Avodah Zarah. We don't want the Yetzirah for Avodah Zarah. We don't want the reward for Avodah Zarah. So we see from here that so they were complaining that we don't want Avodah Zarah because it's such a bad desire. So, but we say that they did want it. Well, how come we said earlier, same question as before? How come we said earlier that Bnei Israel did not like it? They just wanted it to be matir themselves for immorality. Where it says, "Batataviku," I said that before, because they already got attached. But initially they started it just to be rationalized.